Good morning. So, uh, day two of the back to bachelorliness experiment. Anyway, uh, just finished the walk not too long ago, and I'm gonna get ready and have to do the working from home thing. But before I did, something's been rattling around my brain recently. Um, one, uh, I've debated on whether I should even really be super concerned with the idea of monetizing the videos. I was reading some articles where they said after about a month of trying to do so, they cut it off anyway because um, really it's just ad revenues, which to actually do anything with that in a video is ridiculous. Two, I thought about like movie reactions, but as I started kind of going through the list, I've mostly seen the good, popular, mainstream stuff that most people rave about because they missed the first time around. And I've seen most all of it. I mean, there are a few dramas that I missed here or there that I might one day pick up. But when I go into some of the other deeper cuts and stuff and more obscure films, I'm really kind of like torn because a lot of them are either just R-rated for things that I'm not necessarily okay with having to promote on my channel and such, or things of that nature. In Philippians, we're instructed as Christians to whatsoever things are pure, beautiful, of good report, things that are decent, that these are the things that we're to think about. And so I'm like, I don't really want to spend a whole lot of processing power on things that, while they may be aesthetically, cinematically, and otherwise good or well done, the content of the message that they're promoting is not good or in line with the sort of things that God would have a person put into their lives. I know some folks are going to disagree with me on that, and you're welcome to it. I think there's been a pretty decently popular meme that has popped up a few times about that, about how folks get upset because the church, Christians, believers won't just endorse what a person wants to do because they say it's a sin. But then in the same breath they say, but you're free to do that if you want to do that. But you say it's sin. Well, yeah, and that's not going to change. And it's not going to change that, God and Christians, you have the freedom to do that thing. I mean, that doesn't mean I have to rejoice with you in it that you want to do it. So it got me thinking about something else, that there's an entire plethora of movies out there that were made just for, specifically for either a Christian market of a family or church or otherwise, to be able to enjoy some entertainment that wasn't full of all these other things, or it was designed in the purposes of reaching out to folks who are non-Christians. And I'm thinking about possibly doing some reaction review videos of some of those, because all I have seen are negative bashing or riffing on these sorts of movies. And like, for example, I'll use the easy target, the pre-tribulation rapture flick, A Thief in the Night from 1972. It's one I'm contemplating about doing a video of. But they want to riff and rip apart this movie that was made in the early 70s by folks that had probably committed to Christ coming out of like the Jesus movement and such. And I went and looked up some of the stats on it the other night after seeing a couple of different video reviews that were just like trashing, you know, the movie itself. And I looked at the production budget for this movie. It was like $60,000. I'm like, what kind of movie would anybody make for $60,000? I mean, even we're talking 60s, 70s dollars here, the 1970s, but still, I mean, it's amazing that they were able to get much of anything out. So, anyway, along those interests, you know, possibly pulling out the things theologically about some of these films, and looking at just what it is, because a lot of times non-Christian comes looking in and at this movie with just a certain interpretation of what the movie's trying to say, or a bias that, oh, well, it was made low budget by a church or Christian group or such, so it's got to be trash. And if you don't understand the basis from which the film is coming from, then you know, then you're gonna have a problem in the first place. Second of all, if you're going to come into it with a prejudgment, then how is that any different than a Christian person trashing a movie just because it has homosexual themes in it, or has you know, witchcraft or pagan religions in it? So I'm not gonna bash any of these sort of things as far as films, but I just thought about it because there are a lot of organizations that have made films. Some have been successful, some have been marginalized just because of low theater releases, and weren't able to make the budget numbers in box office because there wasn't the exposure that you would have for a equivalent mainstream film. And so it's just a thought. Let me know in the comments if you would be interested in seeing some content like that, because I mean, there are a ton of them out there, and sometimes it can be kind of hard to weed through and get to stuff that might actually be, you know, pretty entertaining or interesting from that perspective. So till next time.